On August the 3rd, the Allahabad High Court will pronounce on whether an Archaeological Survey of India's survey of the Gyanvapi Mosque complex can go through or not. But while we wait for what happens in court, UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has stepped into the raging Gyanvapi controversy, and he's made a big remark saying the structure cannot be called a mosque because that is where the dispute arises. Yogi asks what a trishul and a jyotirling and statues of gods are doing in the Gyanvapi structure if it was a mosque. He says the Muslim side should accept its historical mistake and propose a solution unilaterally. The Allahabad High Court will pronounce its verdict concerning the Archaeological Survey of India survey at the Gyanvapi complex case on the 3rd of August. The Muslim side has objected to the ASI survey to determine, or at least attempt to determine, if the Gyanvapi Mosque in Varanasi was built upon a temple structure. Meanwhile, the Hindu side has claimed that the ASI survey was key to proving the existence of a temple, assuring that no damage to the mosque structure will happen during this proposed survey.
ज्ञानवापी काशी विश्वनाथ मंदिर, इस प्रॉब्लम का कोई सोल्यूशन है?
अगर हम उसको मस्जिद कहेंगे तो फिर विवाद होगा। मुझे लगता है कि भगवान ने जिसको दृष्टि दी है वो देखे ना। त्रिशूल मस्जिद के अंदर क्या कर रहा है? हमने तो नहीं रखे ना। ज्योतिर्लिंग हैं, देव प्रतिमाएं हैं, पूरी दीवारें चिल्ला चिल्ला के क्या कह रही हैं। और मुझे लगता है कि ये प्रस्ताव मुस्लिम समाज की तरफ से आना चाहिए कि साहब ऐतिहासिक गलती हुई है और उस गलती के लिए हम चाहते हैं समाधान हो। देश संविधान से चलेगा, मत और मजहब से नहीं। देखिए, मैं ईश्वर का भक्त हूं, लेकिन किसी पाखंड में विश्वास नहीं करता हूं। आपका मत, आपका मजहब अपने तरीके से होगा, अपने घर में होगा, अपने मस्जिद, अपने इबादत गाह तक होगा, सड़क पे प्रदर्शन करने के लिए नहीं। और इसको आप जो है किसी भी अन्य तरीके से दूसरे पे थोप नहीं सकते हैं। नेशन फर्स्ट, अगर देश में किसी को रहना है तो उसको राष्ट्र को सर्वोपरि मानना होगा, अपने मत और मजहब को नहीं।
नहीं तो उसको क्या बोले? जहां 350 साल से नमाज हो रही हो, रेगुलर नमाज हो रही है, पांचों वक्त की जमात से नमाज हो रही है, तो मस्जिद नहीं बोलेंगे तो क्या बोलेंगे? उस वक्त क्या हुआ था 350 साल पहले? उस वक्त ना कोई कानून था, ना संविधान था, बादशाहत थी, राजा महाराजा थे, और राजा महाराजाओं की जबान संविधान होता था, सारी जमीन उन्हीं की मानी जाती थी। उस वक्त क्या सर्कमस्टांसेस थे? अब ये गड़े मुर्दे उखाड़ के देश को पीछे क्यों ले जाना?
योगी आदित्यनाथ जी ने जो बयान दिया है और जो ज्ञानवापी के कॉम्प्लेक्स में अंदर है, ये दोनों बातें साबित करती हैं कि वो मंदिर है। इसीलिए जिन्होंने मुकदमा किया उन्होंने कहा कि सर्वे करा लीजिए। सर्वे में कुछ बातें सामने आई, शिवलिंग भी सामने आया। उसके बाद ने कहा कि एएसआई सर्वे करे, क्योंकि न्याय करना है तो सच सामने आना चाहिए। सच एक्सपर्ट्स के द्वारा आएगा, एक्सपर्ट्स एएसआई वाले हैं।
बहुत ही सच्ची और सही बात कही है, और इस सही बात कहने के लिए बड़ा जज्बा चाहिए। और एक सत्य को स्वीकार करना या किसी से कहना कि सत्य को स्वीकार कर लीजिए, तो गलती क्या है? ये तो मुस्लिम पक्ष को उन्होंने जगाया है कि आप सो रहे हो, आप देखो इतिहास क्या है, ऐतिहासिक तथ्य क्या है। किसी बाका में मत आइए, विवाद मत बढ़ाइए। ऐतिहासिक तथ्य क्या है? वो जो भवन है उसकी बिल्डिंग का स्ट्रक्चर क्या है, पूरा मंदिर का है। जितने ऐतिहासिक तथ्य, जितनी इतिहास किताबें हैं, सब में लिखा हुआ है।
माननीय उच्च न्यायालय में विचाराधीन प्रकरण विचाराधीन है। ऐसी हालात में किसी भी जिम्मेदार नेता को, मुख्यमंत्री को, प्रधानमंत्री को, मंत्री को या किसी भी पढ़े लिखे जानकार व्यक्ति को माननीय उच्च न्यायालय में लंबित होने के दौरान उस प्रकरण पर कोई भी बात नहीं रखनी चाहिए।
देखिए, ये इसको कहते हैं मुख्यमंत्री इस बात को जानते हैं कि इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट में एएसआई सर्वे के बारे में मुस्लिम पक्ष ने उसकी मुखालिफत की है। वो आजकल में हाई कोर्ट जजमेंट देने वाली है और उसको देखते उन्होंने इस तरह का एक बयान दिया कंट्रोवर्शियल बयान दिया, ये जुडिशियल ओवररीच है। आप मुख्यमंत्री है, कानून को फॉलो करिए। आप कानून को फॉलो नहीं करना चाह रहे, वो मुसलमानों पर प्रेशर डालना चाह रहे, दबाव डालना चाह रहे हैं।
Now, the legal battle has had twists and turns for many, many months now. Now, the archaeological survey of the mosque is on hold till the 3rd of August. The Muslim side has filed a petition in the Allahabad High Court, and there is a stay on that ASI survey until August the 2nd. So, August the 3rd is when the Allahabad High Court will then pick up that issue and pronounce on it. The petition was challenging the Varanasi court's survey order to the Archaeological Survey of India. The Allahabad High Court has reserved its order in the matter and will make that verdict known on the 3rd of August. The judgment is to be delivered on that day, and depending on what the Allahabad High Court decides, it could either stop the survey or pave the way for that Archaeological Survey of India survey at the Gyanvapi complex. Let's go straight across to India Today's Samarth Srivastav. He's been tracking all angles of the Gyanvapi case for over a year now. Samarth, you know, all eyes on the Allahabad High Court, but today Yogi Adityanath, the Chief Minister, has stepped into this entire controversy in perhaps the biggest way possible, and he has not minced his words.
Well, obviously, Shiv, I must say that Yogi Adityanath has cleared his stand on this particular Gyanvapi case, and has clearly, boldly, I must say, he has said that the walls of Gyanvapi are screaming about the truth files of Gyanvapi. That means he has said calling it a mosque, even after finding the marks of trishul, lotus and swastik, is it itself is wrongdoing by anybody whosoever calls. So his stand is very clear, and that could also be seen as a political mileage for the BJP, because Yogi Adityanath is a big leader when it comes to the. He's not just limited to Uttar Pradesh. His popularity is amongst India. So that is why his statement coming in. And he also urged and spoke about the wisdom of the Muslim community. He even said that Muslim community, the Muslim advocates, or those who are in a way related with the Gyanvapi case, must understand and must accept that historians have made a fault while writing this history, and while saying it, while calling it a mosque. So indirectly he has hit out at those who were calling it a mosque. While the opposition is coming down hardly on Yogi Adityanath, the opposition is saying that you are sitting on the post of Chief Minister and you are saying such words which is quite indecent. And the opposition, including Maulanas, also claiming that when the matter is already in the court, when the next hearing date is August 3 in the Allahabad High Court, then what is the need of commenting on this hot topic just to in a way exaggerate the controversy or do this Hindu-Muslim politics? These were the allegations made by the Maulanas of Lucknow and also the opposition parties, including the Congress and Samajwadi Party. But Yogi Adityanath's stand is very clear, and I must tell you that Varanasi comes in the Purvanchal area, and this would definitely give a political mileage to the BJP ahead of the Lok Sabha elections, because BJP is eyeing this particular 80 Lok Sabha seats coming in Uttar Pradesh. That has become very crucial, and with Ayodhya, Ram Temple almost completed and to be started in the month of January by Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi, this Gyanvapi bold statement from Yogi Adityanath has clearly encircled the political atmosphere in the state of Uttar Pradesh.
Very, very interesting. Less than 10 months to go for that big election next year. Uttar Pradesh, totally crucial. Cannot separate the politics from what's going on at the Gyanvapi complex. Samar, thanks very much for summarizing for us the implications of what the UP Chief Minister said today actually are. Now, remember, the Samajwadi Party, the main opposition party in Uttar Pradesh, their leader Swami Prasad Maurya's comments against Hindu temples have sparked a fresh controversy of their own, claiming that all Hindu temples have been built by demolishing Buddhist mutts. Maurya said that pilgrimage sites like Badrinath and Kedarnath were once Buddhist religious sites. Swami Prasad Maurya made these remarks against the backdrop of the ongoing Gyanvapi Mosque dispute in Varanasi, which Hindu groups, as you know, claim was built by Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb after demolishing a Shiva temple that is claimed to have existed at that time. Meanwhile, the BJP has slammed Swami Prasad Maurya and called him a regular offender of Hindu sentiments.
ऐतिहासिक साक्ष्य और गवाह तथ्य इसके एक पुख्ता प्रमाण है कि जितने भी हिंदू धर्म तीर्थ स्थल बनाए गए हैं, ये सब पहले कभी बौद्ध मठ थे। उसी क्रम में हमने बद्रीनाथ और केदारनाथ धाम की भी बात की थी, जिसमें मैंने कहा था 7वीं सदी के अंत तक 8वीं सदी के शुरुआत तक बद्रीनाथ बौद्ध मठ था।
समाजवादी पार्टी की सत्ता में रहते हुए जिस प्रकार से उत्तर प्रदेश में अत्याचार व्यभिचार की घटनाएं होती थी, समाजवादी पार्टी की सरकार में एफआईआर तक दर्ज कराने के लिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाना पड़ता था और खुला संरक्षण अखिलेश यादव जी का हुआ करता था। वो अखिलेश यादव जी जिसके दामन पे इतने दाग हो, वो आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी को सबक सिखाने की बात कर रहे हैं, भारतीय जनता पार्टी को आज आत्मावलोकन करने के लिए कह रहे हैं। बेहतर है कि समाजवादी पार्टी अपनी उस रणनीति पर माफी मांगे जिसमें लड़के हैं, लड़कों से गलतियां हो जाती हैं, उनके पार्टी के संरक्षक के द्वारा कही जाती थी, और फिर भी समाजवादी पार्टी ने कभी गलती नहीं मानी।
समाजवादी पार्टी अयोध्या में कार सेवकों का नरसंहार, बाद में मठ मंदिरों पर हमले, आतंकवादी हमले और उन हमलावरों के साथ खड़े रहना, ये समाजवादी पार्टी का हिंदू विरोधी चरित्र है। और इस चरित्र में बीच बीच में स्वामी प्रसाद जी के जो बयान वो आते हैं, वो कहीं ना कहीं स्पष्टता के साथ झलकते हैं। लेकिन मैं एक बार आपके सामने फिर कहना चाहता हूं कि उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता इन सब विषयों को बहुत गंभीरता से लेती नहीं है।
मौर्य जी का अपना बयान है और उनका निजी बयान है। मैं समझता हूं कि जहां देश में राजनीति, बेरोजगारी, भ्रष्टाचार, महंगाई और तमाम मुद्दों को लेकर है, इन विषयों पर चर्चा होना चाहिए, न कि धर्म की राजनीति में किसी भी नेता को कहीं उलझना चाहिए।
So you've heard what UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has said. He basically says the walls are screaming and saying something. I feel there should be a proposal from the Muslim society that there has been a historical mistake and we need a solution. That's what Yogi Adityanath has said, and it has set the cat among the pigeons because this entire case, remember, is currently sub judice. Joining me live now is the main petitioner in the case for the Hindu side. He represents and a man who has become the face in many ways of the litigation over the Gyanvapi complex. Vishnu Shankar Jain is live and exclusive with me here in the India Today studio. Vishnu ji, welcome. My first question to you, sir, is what do you make of Chief Minister Yogi's statement in this interview?
See, I feel and I believe that the facts of Gyanvapi are very, very glaring. And if someone in the society does not want to admit these glaring facts, for example, the Western Wall, for example, the Hindu Mandir Shikhars which are present beneath the 3 central domes, for example, the pillars which are there in the various parts of Gyanvapi which are Hindu Mandir pillars. For example, there are various defaced idols. For example, there are various idols which are in broken and mutilated condition. For example, there are shloks of Sanskrit, trishul, swastik, number of chins, shivling in the Vazu tank. If apart from these many facts, if someone says that it's a mosque, then I think this litigation we are fighting before the courts of law, and we will make all endeavors to prove before the court of law that this is not a mosque but this is an old temple structure.
You know, the comments made by Yogi Adityanath have been, they have in many ways been interpreted as overreach by a politician since this issue is currently in court. Vishnuji, you've got the AIMIM, you've got the Samajwadi Party saying it's totally inappropriate for the Chief Minister to make such comments because he's in a position of power. What do you think?
See, let me just put this legal position before you very straight. And the legal position is that UP government is not having any formal role in the litigation or any very important role in the litigation. This is a list between Anjuman Intizamiya and Hindu devotees. So if UP government was playing an active role as a litigant, then ideally whatever is the allegation, I would have said that yes, that allegation is correct. And if UP government is litigating as a litigator in the case, then a chief minister or a head of the state shouldn't have made such a statement. But UP government is not a litigator in this matter. This is a litigation between Anjuman Intizamiya and Hindu devotees. Apart from that, I want to ask and say very, very carefully and with lot of sense of responsibility. There is no order from the Supreme Court or the High Court or the District Court Varanasi restraining anyone from speaking on the issue. This issue is in the public domain. Everyone is seeing in the country the pictures which are being played by various television channels as well as your channels, and we are debating upon those pictures and we are forming our opinion. Can someone restrict anyone from forming an opinion? This Western Wall, if I am having a view that this Western Wall, or a Chief Minister of State is having a view that this Western Wall is a ruins of a Hindu temple, what's wrong in it? He can have his own view, but ultimately the law will take its own course and the matter will be settled before the court of law. And under section 89 of the CPC, as a politician and as a head of the state, every endeavor can be made to settle the matter before the final verdict. It happened in Ram Mandir case in 2010. It happened before the Supreme Court in 2019, where all the legislators had taken active part in settling the dispute.
Okay, but the important point here, of course, is that this needs to be settled in court, even though what the UP Chief Minister has said, has set the political agenda, and that's why you're seeing all these reactions. Vishnuji, my third question to you is, we've seen Yogi Adityanath refer to very specific symbols, like the trishul inside the complex, which is something you are very familiar with. You have submitted details, about this to court. We've seen very specific Hindu imagery, like the trishul, what could be, claimed to be the faces of deities, etc. You've submitted all of this in court. What can you tell us about these symbols? Because this is precisely what is under, dispute right now and will be the subject of a survey.
See, the most important evidence in the so-called structure which is called a Gyanvapi Mosque is the name itself. There is no name called Gyanvapi under any Islamic literature. Under any Islamic literature, point number one. Point number two, the second best piece of evidence is the Western Wall. Western Wall is not constructed by Aurangzeb. I am today saying on your channel with lot of sense of authority. And when the ASI survey will happen on the Western Wall, it will prove to hilt that this Western Wall is prior in time than 1669. Then the third most important piece of evidence is the three shikars of Hindu Mandir, which are beneath the central dome, then beneath all three domes. Then apart from that, the pillars on which the so-called mosque is standing, that pillars are pillars of Hindu temple. The bells are there existing at the site in question. The trishul is there, swastik is there, defaced idols are there, mutilated idols are there, Sanskrit shloks are there, swastik chins are there, number of signs are there. Apart from that, shivling is there in the Vazu tank, and there is still a way which is going beneath the central dome to go down, and in the basement that inquiry and investigation has to be made. So that so-called structure is full of signs and symbols which shows and demonstrates that this is not a Islamic architecture, this is not a structure which is built by Aurangzeb, and therefore we are asking for Archaeological Survey of India to survey that entire area and submit its report before the Honorable Court.
So that survey, Vishnuji, is on hold till August the 2nd. Are you hopeful of a favourable order from the Allahabad High Court? What are you doing in the interim? And also give us a sense of what that survey will actually look like.
See, the survey which is going to happen, which is sub judice before the Honorable Allahabad High Court, the verdict is going to be delivered on 3rd of August. And as a litigator, as a lawyer representing one side, I believe and I feel that we have been able to convince the court, and the Honorable Court will give a judgment in our favor, thereby directing the Archaeological Survey of India to conduct a survey over the premises in question. And if such an order is passed, I feel and I believe the Archaeological Survey of India has also submitted an affidavit before the Honorable Court saying that we will not damage or destroy the structure, and without damaging or destroying the structure, this entire survey will be done. Archaeological Survey of India is the premier institution of the country which is known for protecting and preserving a monument. It is never known for destroying or damaging any structure. So these are the contents of the affidavit which has been filed by the Archaeological Survey of India, and I feel that when this survey will happen, there are a lot of modern techniques which will be used by the Archaeological Survey of India. For example, the ground penetrating radar, there will be dating methods, relative dating methods. Apart from that, there will be other modern techniques including the satellite, and then imagery will be done, measurement will be done, mapping will be done, and then Archaeological Survey of India will ultimately submit a report.
Do you think that this entire issue can be settled amicably, or do you think that it's going to take a very, very long time?
See, there can be amicable settlement, but the issue is this, that there has to be a proposal, and the proposal has to be I am very, very categorical on your channel. The proposal has to be this, that the Anjuman Intizamiya has to give us peaceful possession of that property in question. Very, very peaceful possession they have to give. If they do not give us peaceful possession, then we are fighting our case before the courts of law, and we will get a verdict from the Honorable District Court Varanasi saying that we have right to worship there, and the title and possession of this entire area, Khasra number 9130, belongs to Hindu Paksh.
But is there any possibility of that, Vishnuji? I mean, very practically speaking, because even the Chief Minister in his interview has said, I feel there should be a proposal from the Muslim society that there has been a historical mistake and we need a solution. That is precisely what is under dispute. You know, why would anyone come out and say, let's have a peaceful solution?
See, if someone wants to have a peaceful solution and someone wants to say that, all right, look here, we have committed a mistake in the past and we are not able to prove our case in the courts of law, so it's better than facing a verdict from the court if they leave the premises, and then it will give a good message of brotherhood between the two communities. That will be a welcome step. But if that is not going to happen, definitely we are fighting our case before the Varanasi Civil Court, before the High Court, before the Supreme Court, and we will prove to the hilt. I am telling you again with greatest sense of responsibility, we will prove to the hilt that this structure is not built by Aurangzeb in 1669.
Vishnu Shankar Jain, thank you very much for speaking to India Today on this issue. It's an emotive issue. It's one that goes to the heart of many people's sentiments as well on both sides. So we'll keep a close track of this situation. We will only report the facts on this case. The Chief Minister of UP, no less, has weighed in on it. He is not a litigant. He's not a party to this entire thing. But his word most definitely counts in the context of what's happening in Uttar Pradesh. Vishnu Shankar Jain, thank you very much for speaking to India Today. And like I said, the Allahabad High Court will be pronouncing its verdict concerning the Archaeological Survey of India survey at the Gyanvapi complex on August the 3rd. Here's a complete detailed report now on the Gyanvapi issue itself. Here's an explainer of where things are at up until this point.
So in the Gyanvapi Mosque, this is the Wuzu Khana area where the court-appointed commissioners came first to survey. You see this water, this is the Wuzu Khana where the Muslim devotees wash their hands and feet and then they head out for prayers. Now the court-appointed commissioners asked the water that you see here to be emptied out to find out what is exactly underneath. And then when the water started to be emptied out, the details emerged. What you saw here were these stairs leading down as I walked down this area, and a well. Now, of course, the questions were, what is this well? What is in it? All of those questions were asked by the court-appointed commissioners, but this was only after the water was emptied out. What did the commissioners find out? So this well on your screens is exactly right now the flashpoint that it has become. So what is in this well? When the court-appointed commissioners came, they noticed in what appeared to be something inside the well. Now the Hindu side is convinced that this is exactly the Shivling, representative of Lord Shiva. The Muslim side has objected to it and said this is a fountain that is used for the Wuzu Khana. Now as you look closely as what is underneath there, the court-appointed commissioners asked, what are these lines that you see on top of what the Hindu side claims is a Shivling? Now, the Muslim side said, and those present at the premises, that these cuts are used for the fountain and eventually for the Wuzu Khana. The commissioner said then they decided to use a stick or an instrument to dig through these cuts to find out what is the source of the water and where is it for the fountain. Now, it just went through few inches. They could not exactly locate the source of the water, to which the Muslim side replied and said that it is an old fountain, may not be in use right now, but it is a reason that it is used for that. Now, of course, this precisely has become a flashpoint at this point between the two sides. Now, interestingly, there are demands that underneath this floor as well, there's another floor. There are hidden vaults and they need to be explored as well. That well will only happen only after a further survey and if the court really gives an order for it. As of now, this area around me is sealed. But it's a hot, heated debate that is now going on for days and clearly will likely continue. And remember, whether it is the AIMIM or it is the BJP, both sides currently at loggerheads over this big issue of the country. And with this Gyanvapi premises, there are demands from across the country asking for various temples now to be acknowledged that were demolished, according to them, to build a mosque.
One of the things about Indian politics is you never can get the full story. There's always more than meets the eye. There are always wheels within wheels, and a few weeks is an absolute eternity. You all remember the big split in the NCP that happened a few weeks ago when Ajit Pawar rebelled against the NCP, broke it in two, and then joined the BJP Eknath Shinde government in Mumbai. Well, at that time, in the wake of that big collapse of the NCP, Sharad Pawar, the patriarch of the NCP, the founder of the party, the tall leader, had raged against the BJP and Prime Minister Modi. It had become an inflection point for opposition unity as well, except that now Sharad Pawar is going to be personally felicitating Prime Minister Modi at an award ceremony tomorrow in Pune. That's right, Prime Minister Modi and the embattled NCP chief Sharad Pawar will be sharing a stage for an award function on Tuesday when Modi is expected to land in Pune. However, Pawar's allies are very upset with this move and have asked him to back out of being there personally or felicitating the Prime Minister. Watch this report. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sharad Pawar are set to share a stage at an award function in Pune on Tuesday. The Prime Minister will be conferred with the 2023 Lokmanya Tilak National Award at the event, where Pawar will be the chief guest. This will be the first time the political rivals come face to face after the big NCP split, with a faction led by Ajit Pawar joining the Eknath Shinde government in Maharashtra. Sharad Pawar's allies are upset that the Maratha leader is meeting the Prime Minister and felicitating him. They've planned a black flag protest against the Prime Minister's visit.
Democracy is at the stake, and therefore I feel he is the senior person, he is the most learned person, and he should think of it. Whether he should reconsider. I won't make any comment on that. He is more intelligent and more matured and more senior leader of the country. Therefore, I always respect him. He himself should think it what he should do in the present situation.
While the Udhav Sena has made its displeasure public, the Congress has reacted with caution.
तिलक जी के लिए उनका आदर भाव है, इसलिए उस आदर भाव के कारण वो उस आमंत्रण को स्वीकार करने के लिए उस पुरस्कार समारोह में जा रहे हैं. और फिर शरद पवार जी, इसीलिए तो शरद पवार हैं, वो कुछ लीग से हट करके कदम उठाते हैं.
Rohit Tilak, the great grandson of Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and the award ceremony organizer, claims there is no politics behind the event.
It was given to Manmohan Singh ji also, Indira ji also, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji also, Sharad Pawar ji also. So it is not like a particular party has been given, honored by this award. It is all those who have worked in the vision what Lokmanya Tilak ji had given that time or what he had dreamt. I don't think this issue has to be politicized.
Meanwhile, Youth Congress workers have put up Go Back Modi posters at various locations in Pune, asking the Prime Minister to visit Manipur and face Parliament before coming to the city. With Pankaj Khelkar in Pune, Bureau Report, India Today. I want to go straight across to India Today's Mumbai chief and our national affairs editor, Rahul Srivastav. Sahil Joshi, to you first. The allies are very upset and they've asked Sharad Pawar to back out of the Lokmanya Tilak award ceremony that's scheduled for tomorrow. What are you making of this, Sahil? Is it, what's going on here? Is there something that we are not seeing?
Well, when it comes to Sharad Pawar, there is you never get a full screenplay or a full script in hand. You have to go one episode by the other. It's like a full OTT series, what we can see. But as far as this program is concerned, first of all, what we know and what is being inferred about. First of all, what we know is that this program was planned around 3 months back when the split in the NCP had not happened. Or it was, everybody was talking about it, but it has not happened yet. This was planned 3 months back. Secondly, you have to look at the trust. Rohit Tilak himself, whose reaction we were running a while back. He himself was a Congress leader. He was a Youth Congress president of Maharashtra a while back. The trustees who have decided to give this award to Prime Minister Modi is One of the trustees, of course, former Chief Minister Sushil Kumar Shinde, who is also a Congress leader. The trust has the Congress presence in as trustees inside who decided to give this program. Sharad Pawar is attending this program as a chief guest. Of course, it's Pune, it's his home bastion, so of course he will be present there. Now, what is creating an issue is basically now the opposition parties, including Shiv Sena, is thinking that now the situation has changed. 3 months back, when they decided to give this award to Prime Minister Modi, and when Sharad Pawar accepted the invitation to become a chief guest at this particular event, that time this split in NCP had not happened. The discussion in last couple of weeks is that both the fractions, Ajit Pawar as well as Sharad Pawar, have they are not exchanging any barbs at each other. Somewhere that fight has gone cold. Everybody is waiting for what is going to happen in the election commission. At this point of time, Sharad Pawar going for this particular event, where there is a possibility that even Ajit Pawar will also be present on the stage, because as a deputy chief minister, he will have to go and receive Prime Minister at the Pune airport in the morning. So he may follow him to this particular function as well. That will send a very wrong message to the NCP workers who are already in a dilemma, and there is a lot of discussion among the NCP cadre that whether this particular split is for real or both the fractions will eventually come together, because that Ajit Pawar and his minister had already gone and met Sharad Pawar and have requested him that solve this problem, let's come back together again and support BJP, which Sharad Pawar has not agreed yet. Now, what is the other side of it? Sharad Pawar, since last few days, have given clear signals that he is on the side of opposition parties. He attended the meeting of India Alliance Partners in Delhi before the Lok Sabha election, before the Lok Sabha session began. And unlike Sharad Pawar, he first time tweeted openly and said that he participated in the opposition alliance meeting in Delhi. And he also have said that after 15th of August, he will be touring the state of Maharashtra to talk against the BJP government and to create that atmosphere against the BJP government. But him being present at the award where the Prime Minister will also be present is going to send definitely a message which will create a lot of a situation which will embarrass the opposition alliance in Maharashtra.
And many of them have already spoken out, including Sanjay Raut of the Uddhav faction of the Shiv Sena. Rahul, if I could bring you in, the opposition had been looking at Pawar post this split, and specifically Sharad Pawar's indignation as a kind of unifying factor, as a kind of inflection point as far as the opposition is concerned. If you've got Pawar on stage felicitating the Prime Minister, that goes completely off script as far as the opposition is concerned. How are you reading this, Rahul?
Shiv, after what Sahil has said, there is one thing we should remember, that Sharad Pawar belongs to a political era where I remember one thing, that sometime in the early 1990s, Narasimha Rao was a Prime Minister, and after some incident in Parliament, when some senior editors met him and there was a briefing, there used to be a debriefing at the press club in Delhi for young members like us. In that, they had said that Narasimha Rao, when he was asked that he had met Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the leader of the opposition, and why did he do that at a function sharing stage with him, he said that I follow what Michael Corleone's case in Godfather 2, that's Narasimha Rao, that keep the friends close but keep the enemy closer. And that's what was Narasimha Rao said. And in 1994, he sent Vajpayee to Geneva for the UNHCR thing. Then in 1996, when he was going out, he gave a chit to Atal Bihari Vajpayee saying, meet Kalam. And meet Kalam meant that the unfinished work on the nuclear explosion, nuclear test, which happened eventually on between May 11th and 1998, in which 5 devices were tested. You see, there was a certain degree of political bonhomie despite all the political differences at one time. And I think Sharad Pawar belongs to that era, that when Rahul Gandhi was attacking the government on the Adani issue and Adani was the target, Pawar took a middle path. He said, no, there is a certain degree that he will maintain a certain degree of restraint. See, that's where lies the problem. Should you make any political rivals as bitter enemies? One. Second, remember, Tilak does not, Sharad Pawar has the prerogative of still walking out of that function. But he is not. Remember, Tilak represents a very strong sentiment in Maharashtra and India, Shiv. He's the man who talked about Sampurna Swaraj for the first time. Now, remember also that Tilak also represents a very strong Chitpavan Brahmin lobby in Bihar, where there are sentiments attached to him. Sharad Pawar is not abdicating that space which he may have among those voters. So the cadre may complain, Shiv Sena may complain. Why is Shiv Sena taking a line against the Congress on Savarkar? So you can pursue your own politics when, despite a coalition, Sharad Pawar is just doing that, maybe looking at his own constituency. I think some amount of political grace is going into it, and that's a welcome sign.
Okay, political grace, or is there more to it? We'll have to wait and see tomorrow, because Sharad Pawar had the option of pulling out, but he hasn't done so. And as Sahil very rightly said, Sharad Pawar is not a picture. He's an OTT. There is always something more to come. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. Sahil and Rahul, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on that political story. Now, even as film production in Hollywood grinds to a halt against the proliferation of artificial intelligence, Netflix has thumbed its nose at the strike and advertised a lucrative job opening for an AI product manager. The OTT major has offered a whopping annual salary of $900,000, or that's 7.5 crore rupees annually for that job, which scriptwriters and actors say threatens their livelihoods. Take a look at this report.
The picket line outside the Netflix office in Los Angeles has been in place for more than a month, with Hollywood scriptwriters on one of their longest strikes till date. One of their demands, a safeguard against artificial intelligence, replacing them in scripting blockbusters and superhit series for both the big and small screens. Netflix, meanwhile, has gone ahead and done what the strikers feared. Advertised a lucrative job opening for an AI product manager, offering a whopping annual salary of up to $900,000. Netflix has officially described the role as a position within the company's machine learning department. The job, which can be performed remotely from anywhere on the US West Coast, boasts a salary range of $300,000 to $900,000. The primary responsibilities of this role include enhancing Netflix's machine learning platform and utilizing AI to create content. Another high-paying AI position listed by Netflix is for a technical director specializing in generative AI at its gaming studio, with an annual salary ranging between $450,000 and $650,000. This comes at a time when actors and writers who are currently on strike are demanding better wages and regulations on studios' use of emerging technology. Critics argue that such high salaries for AI-related roles could potentially jeopardize their jobs and creative freedom. Not only can AI complete the unfinished scripts and write plots for new ones, new AI algorithms can even dictate how many episodes need to be in a season before the show reaches a plateau of new subscribers, and how many seasons a series needs to be on. This can reduce the amount of episodes per season to between 6 and 10, number of seasons to 3 or 4, delivering a blow to scriptwriters.
A SAG and WGA strike for a fair and equitable contract for the very creatives that have driven its success, but also this is an inflection point for labor as a whole.
We're fighting against corporate greed, and it manifests itself in a variety of ways, but it's all the same theme, which is, when big corporations tell you you can't afford to get paid in a way that keeps up with inflation, when they fire Starbucks workers for not, for wanting to have a union, when they, refuse to take basic respect of people's face, image, and voice with AI, all of these issues are tied into the same thing, which is corporate greed and lack of respect for workers, and I think it's time for that to end.
While AI-powered algorithms and content could turn the tide for Netflix, whose shares are poised for their biggest drop this year after projecting third-quarter revenue that fell short of Wall Street estimates, actors and scriptwriters are a furious lot, delaying the release of films and OTT series. Slowly, they are also joined by unions from other industries which share the same fear of being replaced by artificial intelligence. Bureau Report, India Today.